this is how you leave your position, and I think it's fantastic. Tulsi Gabbard spotlights Fauci.
Oh, that was a good one.
COVID origin questions and final act as intelligence chief amid succession fight. Now that part I'm all confused with.
Yeah, that's a separate story. I don't know why that's linked to this story. There's two separate stories, Eric.
Right. And really, she didn't release anything new from what I saw. She just confirmed what everybody suspected. That, that whole origin of that thing that's in China that I'm still afraid to say because YouTube and the Biden administration, well, she released that information saying, yes, as a matter of fact, it was paid for by Fauci and crew.
And big Pfizer, big drug.
Oh yeah, big pharma.
I mean, she goes into some verbal detail in her video. I don't know if you saw hers on Twitter, but she goes into some real detail as to how the operation worked, with Fauci crushing anyone who opposed him, rewarding people who towed the party line, how Big Pharma rewarded both of them, how he moved this thing, the gain of function into certain areas of other countries. She went into some detail about it. I mean, is something going to happen? Who knows? But
he got a pardon. I think it's going to be kind of tricky, and Trump's not innocent in the affair either, because he's the one who put him up there. He's the one who promoted Burks. He's the one who came up with the project. So it is going to be a challenge, in my opinion. But better something come out, I guess, than
but it creates more frustration, I think, in a lot of ways, because it's like, hey, this guy robbed a bank, can't do a fucking thing about it, but aren't you glad you knew that this guy robbed a bank?
Well, I think there's something to be said too with Fauci himself. I think he was uniquely in a position. I don't know of anybody who worked that long in the government across all the administrations. And part of the reason he was so powerful is consider what he could do to anybody who went against him. Like, you're going to get cut off of all government funding.
Yeah, it was enormous, unchecked power. And he lied under oath to Congress. She's not wrong about that. You get blanket immunity from the president, who signed this thing with an auto pen and doesn't even know what happened. Either you contest that or you don't contest it. Shut the fuck up then. Either auto pens are not valid for pardons, or, why bring it up?
I agree. What I think could happen, I would like to see happen, I don't know if it will happen, is drag him now in front of Congress, because this is new information.
Yeah.
However, this is a new release. Now drag him up and say, let's talk. What happened?
Yeah.
Did you do this? Did you do this? Did you do this? And then if he lies, pardon doesn't cover that.
No.
Pardon doesn't cover his perjury.
No.
So either get him to squirm in front of Congress and have to admit every single thing, which isn't ideal, but it's something.
Yeah.
Or hopefully, or he'll lie, and then he could be technically locked up for perjury.
I'll take that.
There we go. That's what I propose. Anybody who has another great idea, I'm all ears, but I think it could be a beneficial thing.
I mean, you could have a lawsuit, a civil action suit by the victims of COVID against him personally in civil court. The pardon may have covered him criminally. But if I was a smart lawyer or a group of lawyers, I would round up 100, 150 victims and put together a class action suit against this piece of shit.
Oh, and not only that, you gave me another idea when you said that. But,
okay.
Yeah, he's got a federal pardon, but does he have a Texas pardon,
nope.
Mississippi pardon, an Alabama pardon, Arkansas pardon?
You could just take victims from Texas. You could just take, with Paxton or someone, putting together
Florida.
One state.
Do one after another and just drag them.
Yeah, you could have states combine. Sometimes state attorneys generals hook up and combine into class action suits.
And if I recall, there's no statute of limitation on murder.
No,
if it
that's
can
murder.
Be shown, it takes some work.
Well, the discovery would be worth it, to get those emails and to present them in open court of him saying, fuck these people, or, you know, who cares? The COVID thing doesn't work. And I know it, and you know it, Bob, or whatever's in there, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think that could be really.
At least you'd bankrupt him and his family, which is maybe, you know, worth it.
Yeah. He'd spend the rest of his life trial after trial after trial after trial after trial. It would just be so frustrating. But
I'm saying you can't just keep putting things out in the zeitgeist, like the thing we talked about with Ilhan Omar. Nothing ever fucking happens. So all you get is frustrated people who keep saying the same two words. Do something. I mean, it reflects badly on you, you know, to keep going out there as a government official saying, Ilhan Omar married her brother. She stole this money. Okay, what did we hire you for, shithead? What do you want, us to go and arrest her? You know what I mean? And to repeatedly say it, they don't gauge the frustration of the American people who are saying, just do something.
I agree. And you know, it's funny you bring that, because it's been Tulsi who's been kind of dropping these things one after another after another. I mean, in terms of it, and nothing's really happened because she's dropped
she keeps referring
Russiagate. She keeps referring. Yeah. And nope.
We're on our second attorney general already. So, you know, how many more are going to change seats on this thing? We never hear from Luna anymore at the oversight committee. That's her job may be gone soon, you know, unless she gets reelected. And, you know, the midterms stay as they are. But that being said, nothing ever seems to happen.
I'm sure that Luna will turn up with Morley in the next documentary.
Whatever.
Coming up. But I don't know. And it is interesting that she dropped that on her last day. I was like, so damn hot. She's like, I'm going to do it. I'm out. It's like a grenade.
Well, there's also a thing she dropped about Giuliani and the phone call with Ukraine and the Trump coup. I don't know if you saw those documents.
No, I did. Tell me about it.
I'm telling you about it right now. She also dropped a massive amount of, while still redacted, some of it, about the phone call coup regarding Trump, and how in these documents you see the step-by-step procedure of how they went and almost had a coup d'etat over the phone call with a stand-up comic actor named Zelensky at the time, who had recently become president of Ukraine. So these documents are also extremely important, by the way.
Interesting. Well, we'll see.
She verbally addresses Fauci, but the documents in detail address the coup d'etat regarding Trump and Ukraine.
Okay, Tractor Guy is standing up for Luna, or he's trolling us. I don't know which, but Luna's been instrumental to UFO disclosure.
That's funny.
Yeah, I am hoping it's a troll, because I'm like, really?
I must have missed that.
Cuban lawmakers approve sweeping reforms to socialist model amid U.S. pressure. So Cuban lawmakers unanimously approved sweeping reforms backed by the Communist Party and former leader Raul Castro that would privatize a vast swath of the country's socialist economy in a bid to survive punishing U.S. sanctions. Which is, it is a brilliant way for them to get out of it. It's like, okay, if you privatize it, then that means that we're not going to sanction like Chevron, who buys this, or whatever. I'm just throwing company names out there.
Yeah, they just want to get Trump off their back until he's gone. Then they'll go back to full-on socialism. This is bullshit. They just got to press them into oblivion. Go down there and grab Raul Castro and take him out of there, like you did with Maduro, and save these people down there in Cuba who have been under the oppression of this communist regime since 1961. It's enough already for these people.
Well, that's one approach. The other approach could be that it works, that people say, hey, I kind of like this. I kind of like having some private property. And, oh, wow, look at these hotels are here. And it could work. You know,
okay, I don't know.
For example, Vietnam.
Yeah. Which
I don't know if you knew that. It's
full-on communist now, right?
I'd actually say it is more democratic than China. There's been a lot of research has been done that Vietnam ultimately won over because of consumerism.
Wait, last I looked, Vietnam is a full-on communist regime.
I don't think they are.
Okay. All right.
I don't think they are. And they have proven themselves successful. As a matter of fact, some of manufacturing getting out of China is going to Vietnam.
Oh, no, I'm not disputing
and other places.
Right. So, I'm not disputing that. I'm just saying it's a communist country. Unless something happened, I could be wrong. I wasn't paying attention to Vietnam for a long time, but Cuba has an indoctrinated base of people down there who, have a hierarchy in the communist pyramid, who have a lot at stake. If that collapses on them too, Eric, right?
Well, I agree. I dealt with them, but they also have the other people who I dealt with who are very, very adamantly going the other way.
Yeah.
So it is possible that it could work. Same way Venezuela is fully communist, Mark, but we're saying, hey, well, we're working with them, and there it is. So.
Well, again, Venezuela is a different story because they had two consecutive dictators in a row with Chavez and Maduro, and it was a Johnny-come-lately communist dictatorship with oil. The Cubans have been in business as a dictatorship, as a family thing since 1961. That is an entrenched communist regime, which is different, I'm saying, than Venezuela.